One of my favorite parts of liking things is participating in fandom culture, but unfortunately there is a very thin line between fandom and fanaticism, and I think MidwestPrincessHQ is an example of crossing that line. First off, if you're not familiar, MidwestPrincessHQ was one of the biggest Chappell Roan fan sites. It was even followed by Chappell Roan herself and other celebrities like SZA, so it was a pretty large Instagram account that supported Chappell, and it used to have 3 mods, but a while back one of the mods, Nova, was revealed for, among other things, stalking Chappell and making comments that were not necessarily as supportive of the LGBTQ community as a Chappell Roan fan site should maybe be. And when the other 2 admins found this out, they evicted Nova from the account, and all was happy and good, right? No, all was not happy and good, because Nova was able to regain access to the account, and Nova now has exclusive access to the account, although Nova is also trying to hide that fact to retain the almost 80,000 followers that they still have. And if you want to follow the other 2 admins who used to run MidwestPrincessHQ, they are now at MyKinkIsHQ. That account already has 15.6 thousand followers and growing, so I'm hoping once their account is larger than MidwestPrincessHQ, that it'll help with the situation somewhat. Now, Nova is somebody who is from Chappell Roan's hometown. Nova had used that knowledge that they had from being from their hometown to identify where Chappell Roan's parents live and to follow her around town, even when she was in her hometown. And I get that there is interest in public figures, but I think that everyone deserves some element of privacy. It is not healthy for literally anyone to be followed every minute of their life and to feel like they have no privacy and to feel like they can't trust the people around them. That is decidedly unhealthy, and I think that's one of the reasons that so many celebrities have so many mental health problems, go through so many bad paths. But I think especially when a performer has very decidedly made an alter ego that they perform under and have stressed the fact that this public persona and their private persona are 2 very different people, I think it is especially egregious to track somebody down in their private life when they have indicated that they don't want their private self to be the thing that faces the world. And realistically, unless you're somebody in government or somebody who's royalty, I think that you deserve the ability to say no, I don't want people to have that access to me, and prevent people from having that access. But unfortunately, there's really no laws that protect people, especially people who are public-facing citizens. It's once you are somewhat well known to the public, there's very little legal precedent that protects you, and it's very difficult and expensive to pursue that, and oftentimes you're not going to get much out of it. And unfortunately, I feel like this is a scenario where, because of how big this has gotten, because Chappell Roan has addressed this herself, she's made some comments recently about the inappropriateness of some fans' behavior. She has made some comments about how she's getting too big too fast and how she wants to slow it down and things like that. I think that is something that can and should be respected, and unfortunately, I don't understand how this account has not gotten banned. I feel like somebody at Instagram has to know that this account has been egregious and has been crossing the line. I do not want to see Chappell Roan become one of those celebrities who has a very brief career and then completely retracts away from the public because she doesn't like the way the fan culture has treated her and things like that. And this is what frustrates me so much, right? Because Chappell Roan is one of us. If you're the LGBTQ community, she is one of us. We all know that she is going to be under a lot of scrutiny, especially for people that are not like us. And it really frustrates me that it's people that are quote unquote inside the house that are the ones that are making Chappell feel so bad. We all knew that there were going to be certain people, certain organizations that were going to have a hard time with Chappell and that Chappell was going to have a hard time with. It really freaking stinks that we are one of those things. And this is one of those things that happens really frequently, and I think Nova had mentioned coming out of a conservative Christian cult or something like that, and a lot of us do come from these backgrounds, and you don't just unprogram all of the bigotry and all of the self-hatred and all of those things that people spent 10, 15, 20 years shoving down your throat. You don't instantly unprogram that just by being oh, well, maybe I'm bi or maybe I'm gay. You have to actually look at the things you believed and why you believed them and deprogram that stuff, or you are taking the harmful bigotry and all of this nastiness into our communities where we are supposed to have safe spaces. Really quick before we get back to the video, my name is Erin Moriarty, and among other things, I do commentary on pop music, especially Taylor Swift, Chappell Roan, and other similar pop celebrities. For Taylor Swift, I do analyst from a Muse Free, and Taylor Swift is her own Muse perspective. I do a lot of film and literature literary analysis with Taylor Swift. I also do lifestyle and commentary from the perspective of somebody who tried to buy into hustle culture but failed, and from somebody who also tried to pretend to be straight for 38 years and also failed. Back to the video. Chappell Roan's community should have been one of the safest places possible for anybody LGBTQ, and the fact that a mod on a major Chappell Roan fan site was attacking people that are trans, it's not it. And the frustrating thing is, like I said, there are still 80,000 fans that follow this account, almost. And whilst, yes, there are a lot of people in the comments that are talking about this situation, not everybody reads comments. There are still a number of likes that are getting put on these posts. There are still a number of people that are seeing these posts. This person still has a decent amount of reach within the Chappell Roan fan community. And it's frustrating, right? Because I don't want to be like, if a celebrity asks for an Instagram account to be taken down, they should be able to have it taken down, because then we're going to have a lot of people who are trying to hold others accountable. People who do commentary and criticism are often fighting tooth and nail against the people that are trying to protect their reputation. We see it with inappropriate cease and desists, we see it with inappropriate copyright strikes and things of that nature. So like, I don't want to be like, hey, if somebody asks for something to be taken down, it should be taken down. But on the same token, I feel like, hey, this is an account that used to be run by 3 people. What I'm presuming is that it was originally created under Nova's email or something like that, or one of the emails that is the recovery email is Nova's email, and that makes it difficult for everybody else to get back into the account and to permanently block Nova out of that account. It seems like something that they did try and pursue with Instagram. I'm inferring that just based on things that they said. I do not know 100% for sure that they reached out to Instagram, and I'm willing to accept that there's definitely a chance that Instagram is completely unaware of this circumstance, because Chappell isn't like mega huge or what have you. She may not have contacts in these big companies yet, but I'm hoping that if we talk about it more and that if it becomes more public knowledge what has happened, that maybe action can be taken to, if not get rid of this account, then to make sure that Nova can no longer access that account, can never get access to that account again. Because realistically, so long as that account exists, there are always going to be new Chappell Roan fans that it's one of the first things that comes up when you search for her on Instagram a lot of times, because it used to have a lot of reach. It has a lot of big posts under big Chappell Roan hashtags. And I think one of the big problems that we're having in social media right now is that the large majority of decisions with regards to account blocks and bans and stuff like that are happening automatically by AI. A lot of these companies have inappropriately, in my opinion, handed over too much control to computers that are not necessarily great. And one of the best examples that I have of this is that the hashtag Chappell Roan was actually blocked on TikTok for a brief period because it was associated with too many reports. Because right now there are a lot of homophobes that just any type of queer hashtag that's trending, especially if it's like a pop star, a lot of the gaylor hashtags are commonly attacked as well. You really can't even use the word gaylor on TikTok right now. It's very quickly to get you blocked or banned and things like that because it has been inappropriately reported. These companies, quite frankly, do not have LGBTQ staff members who are overseeing this and who are making sure that LGBTQ people are not suffering. And it's not just LGBTQ people, it's marginalized people. One of the things that I've noticed is that it's not just talking about LGBTQ things that limits my reach on TikTok, because that's definitely something that does. But if I mention autism, if I mention disability, it's like there are certain categories of things that they think are not appropriate for kids. And especially if you talk about a lot of them, you are getting suppressed. And it is disproportionately impacting marginalized people. I think a lot of the people who are talking about it are people that don't have a lot of reach because they're being impacted by it. And I believe that because so many of these systems are so heavily automated at this point in time and are so reliant on AI, that I wonder if any human at Instagram is aware that this is going on. Even if they did report it, like so many of these systems are being handled by machine learning, AI, similar things instead of actual literal human beings. And it stinks because I wanted to come to this video with some sort of like action call, like, hey, we should do this action so we can help protect Chappell and we can help protect the fan space, right? Because so long as this large fan account is in these fan spaces, it's gonna keep hurting people. I don't have an action item. Like, I guess hypothetically we could all start reporting that to Instagram. I just don't know that it's going to get through any automated system to an actual human being. being. I especially think that this creator is dangerous because, like I said, they have not addressed their inner trauma from growing up in a very conservative Christian environment. And I'm sorry, when you grow up being told that gay people are bad and trans people aren't real and all of these things, you have to very actively go in and disassemble these beliefs in order to not be harmful in safe spaces. But also in order to love yourself too. If you'd like to hear more from me about Chappell, I've done a video about it. If you'd like to hear more from me about Taylor Swift, I've done several videos about that. I am a very small creator, under 2,000 subscriptions while I'm saying this, so your likes, comments, and subscriptions really do help me a ton. Thank you so very much.